We're gonna be getting started. We about to get started, family. I just had to take a short little break here. Got my scroll here, so y'all get ready. We about to give me 5 minutes, and we're gonna get started. So just stay tuned and don't you go nowhere. And you in for the ride of your life. Black Pop. all right, family. Black power, black power. We in the house. Let's get busy. Let's get busy. The Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, Sinister connection. Buckle in. Buckle in. Here we go. Here we go. Now, the thing is, what we got to understand. Number one, when you think about America, you're thinking about a combination of groups. You're thinking about the Germanic tribe, the Viking. You're thinking about the Romans. You're thinking about the Celtics. These is the three major groups that come to form what we know today as the European American society. So when we begin to look at the holidays, the holiday, you got to understand that this is the origin, in some of them are a combination. You see, it's no straight line back. You see, let's get in here. Okay, get that on up out. You see, there's no straight line. It's a combination of the Celtic, the Druid, a combination of the Viking, Thor, Odin, a combination of the Roman. Now today, what we call Halloween for the Celtic is called Samhain. Okay, Samhain. Let me get that done so you can see. Here you go. Samhain. Now that just lets you know. They vernacular is it to me. It's a Sam Hain, but that's not what it is. It's Samhain. Okay, and so it start from sunset. It just started sunset to sunset tomorrow. That's Samhain. And it's marking the beginning of winter. Okay, it's marking the beginning of winter. And so for the Celtics, winter start in November. So when we get into this calendar and we start dealing with the beginning of winter, some some say the beginning of winter is December the 21st. Okay, some people start their winter December 21st, and so I start winter when it get goddamn cold. You see, when it get goddamn cold, it's winter. You see, that's what that's what substantiate winter for me. God damn it, if I gotta put on a goddamn coat and it goddamn it, it's cold outside, the seasons didn't change. Okay, let me see. I'm gonna get my eyes out of there. Okay. All right, come on, pop out, pop out. Okay, there you go. Okay, and so nah. So this is but it's not just Sam Hain because uh a lot of it is also from the Roman what they call Lumeria. Okay, we're gonna deal with that Lumeria, and that's not the land that they call Lumeria, but an actual holiday in the Roman Empire. You see that very similar to what they call Hallows Eve with the Roman Catholic. Now, if you ain't into Catholicism, we're gonna be going over that. Okay, we're gonna be going over that. Make sure everybody. Okay, we're in the house. That's right. So when you're talking about the Romans conquered Britain 43 AD. Okay, so this is so when we talk about these holidays, I don't want y'all to think that it's a hypothetical connection because the Romans actually controlled Britain for over, I believe, 300, 400 years. And so all of the holidays that were celebrated in Rome were also celebrated in Britain. This is what you got to understand. You see, so the conquest of the British Isles, so with the conquest of the British Isles, the Romans brought with them Saturnalia, which is the carnival of Rome around, which would be December 17th to December 23rd, where they celebrated Saturn, and you see, and it was carnival. And carnival, when we speak of carnival, just so you get a clear understanding, Mardi Gras is carnival. A lot of what Halloween is, when you got a parade, that's carnival, and they dress up in all type of costumes and so on and so forth. That's carnival. You see, that's carnival. Halloween, they putting on the costumes. That's carnival. You see? And so you got Santanelia, you got Lupercalia. Lupercalia was what later became Valentine's Day. So what the Catholics did, they usurped all of these holidays and they Christianized. You see, it called them something else. Okay, Santanelia they call Christmas. You see, Lupercalia they named after Saint Valentine, a saint that ain't never lived. And so they created a lot of saints to co-opt a lot of what they call pagan worship. You see? And so even when you talk about English, if you did not know it, English is a Germanic language. So and when we talk about Germanic, we talk about Viking. It is a Germanic language. You see? And so they also as they adopted Germanic language, they adopted Germanic culture. You see, and so you see what we call the Scandinavians, and you see right there the land of the scandalous. You see the Norwegian, and you see also one of the terms norm, which is another term that they use for wit. You see, so when you say Norn or the Norns, these are specifically Viking witches in their mythology. The Norns, you can look them up. Sort of similar to the Fates. You know, the three wet witches, and one of them, you know, we they got a thread which is a lifeline. You see, and they got scissors, and when it's your time, they cut that line. And so this is where you get the term throwing somebody a lifeline because obviously the one that they got on his way to being cut. And so you see that all these areas were under Roman control. You see all of Europe, even northern Africa, was under Roman control. And so wherever the Roman was, they brought the holidays with them. Okay? They brought these holidays with them all through Europe. They controlled Europe. So you see, it's not a coincidence when we bring this up how similar, because they were practicing Saturnalia before they was practicing Christianity. They were practicing Lupercalia and all of these holidays. They were practicing these days before there was Christianity. You see? And so now you see when the Vikings came in, the Vikings first invaded Britain in 793. You see, and last invaded in 1066. when William the Conqueror became king of England after the Battle of Hastings. Now, what's so crazy about that? William the Conqueror, he was, because the so-called Celtic, the supposed original, and they wasn't original. They was the first Europeans to come upon the land. You see, there was, the African was already in there, and they speak about that. If you get that book by the European, his name is Ritchie, and he writes about the little trois that were on the island before they even got there. And the documentation is coming from the Europeans themselves. And so the Celtics wasn't all that smart. But if you watch any movies that depict the Celtics and when the Romans came in, they was considered to be barbarians. They was considered to be heathens and pagans. But more so, they were looked at as lowly people. And so William the Conqueror was the one that even brought the castles and things of that nature into Britain. So you see most of them, a lot of them castles that you see over there, even the castle of London, right downtown, where they was locking peoples up and shit, very historical. William the Conqueror put that there, and he was a Viking. So the Vikings, you see here on this map, you see the settlements, that they took over parts of Wales, England. They took over parts of Scotland, and they took over parts of Ireland. And so the Roman mixed with the Viking and also the Celtic. And you see that they brought the, the English, which later became the English American. They brought that over here. That's why uh, you get the Viking culture, the Minnesota Vikings. Now they say that there was a find in Minnesota where they found some runestone. Runestones are very similar to stela in ancient Egypt, where it's a stone slab, and they carve certain like what's the term? It's a decree. And sometimes it's a decree. It's a message, and they put it there for all that come that way. Many times, if you go to somewhere that is a historical mark, you'll see that they got a plaque in front of it, whether it's a home, whatever it is. That's sort of the modern version of the stela. You see, that's the modern version of the stela. Okay, and so again, now what's crazy, and even though it's Halloween, they all were carnal. Okay, and I'm gonna show you that. Even Christmas time was carnival, where they dress up with masks. This was the standard across all European religions, and this is one of the sinister connections that I'm talking about. Because I'm gonna shoot down here right quick, just to show. See, now this is, you would think this is Halloween. This is not Halloween. This is actually during, this one is actually during New Year's. But the thing is, they go from door to door and they sing Christmas carols. This is not Halloween. This is New Year's. And again, they dress up in masks and they go from house to house during that time, looking for candy with masks on, singing Christmas carols. Okay, again, and here you see some got Santa on, some got other forms of costume on. But this is during New Year, and sometimes even during Christmas. You see right here, this is actually Christmas where they put on the goat mask, which is, they see now this is Yule. You see, this is Yule, and Yule is the Nordic, if you want to say Christmas. So this is the German. This is the German aspect of Christmas that preceded Christmas. This is what we have to understand. That what you're seeing today with Halloween, what you're seeing with Thanksgiving, what you're seeing with Christmas is actually bits and pieces of these same holidays, Yule and Saturnalia, just bits and pieces. You see? Now, if I showed this to anybody, they would not believe that they could immediately, but you can see that there's snow out there. You see, but I guess it could snow October 31st, but you can see that's some deep ass snow. So they're over there in the Nordic country. You see, that's in the deepness of winter. You see, and so I mean, it's another one right here too. Let me put this one. Now, another one they call now a name that they use for 'em is mama. Now they mama means that they dress up. They dress up. They dress up, and you can see right here, mamas wearing full facial masks as part of mumming play. Mummings took place at Christmas. You see, though, apart from knowing that they use rhyming couplets, you know little else about the early mummy. So the mummies, they got plays and whatever, and where they dress up, and you can see that they got masks on with, you see animal heads and this, that, and the third. But see, this is Christmas time. You see, so the mask wasn't just worn at Halloween. The mask was worn during Christmas. The mask was worn during New Year's, and today, three of the major holidays that are very significant in there. You see that it is Halloween, uh, Mama's Day. That's in Philadelphia. Now, if you want to see Mama's Day, it's a lot of wicketry in that. You see, you got a lot of them pride motherfuckers out there, and so you can't go to no parade today. You can hang that shit up. You see what I'm saying? Because you've been fuck around and get the shock of your life going in there and seeing some damn some of that shit that's going on out there today. You can't go. You brought, I don't know even about the Thanksgiving parade. I don't think they didn't do it, but and they ain't giving a damn. But I don't know if they didn't went that far to let them, But I know that New Year's and that Halloween and that Mardi Gras, you can throw that shit on. You can throw the towel in on that. You see what I'm saying? So that's the significance. That's one of the significance that the format of celebration was across the board. You see, was across the board. Now, what's very significant about this time in which we in, we talking about the fall. We talking about fall. Okay, we talking about fall. Let me get it. You see, let me get in. This one to do it right. You see, and so you talking to now we talking about autumn. You see, and that's where you get in what you get the kinetic terminology autumn, autumn ra. You see, which is a solar deity. But another term for autumn is also fall. And what is it the fall of? It's the fall of the sun. We're gonna get out into that. It's the fall of the sun. And but on the other end, in the southern hemisphere, is the vernal equinox. You see, and so that means that the sun is rising at this time. It's not falling, it's rising. It is moving towards the summer solstice, which is the longest day of the year. So the solstices, the summer solstice from June 20th to 22nd is the longest day of the year. The sun, it'll be day damn near all day. It probably lasts, 9:30, and you understand somewhere up in there. Then you got the winter solstice, which is the shortest day of the year. Now, depending on what hemisphere you in, it switches. Okay, so coming up December 21st, the winter solstice is actually in the southern hemisphere, the summer solstice. It flips in the different hemisphere. So when it becomes the summer solstice here in the northern hemisphere, June 20th through 22nd, it'll be uh where they don't have winter in the southern hemisphere. It's more like rainy season. You see what I'm saying? It's more like the rainy season. And so this is the very significance of that. So when we say that the sun is uh giant, and we have that's hypothetical, but we also got to understand those of us who have a full understanding know that the sun is also on that same day in, in in full bloom and full grandeur in the southern hemisphere. You see, not that he did, he didn't move to another aspect of the galaxy. It moved to another aspect of the universe. And so that's what we have to say. Now, what's very significant about fall, you see, and, this in the northern hemisphere, that, it is looked, the sun is looked at as the great king, looked at as the great warrior, and he has fallen. Now, when there's no king, you see, to guard the people, the demons come out, the pillagers come out. You see, they come out. And so you see right here, the fall of the sun, return of malevolent shadow beings. And so we know in the fall, even when I was used to go to school and shit, the sun, you used to stand out a little. When you get out of school, you play around a little bit. And I used to remember during that fall season, if you look around and damn, you get out of school, you didn't play too long. You see that damn sun is starting to set on your ass. And I used to, damn, I should have been getting my ass home a little quicker. I'm out here playing. And see, in that fall, you see shadow. You see what comes out in the in the fall. You see a lot of shadows. You see that fall. You see what I'm saying? That'll come out. And so in that, you get to see and shit. I know I do. You know what I'm saying? And, you get to see and shit. So in that sense, now that the sun has fallen, then the malevolent shadow beings can come out. Now they say at this time, you're talking about the veil is thinning. And last week of October is known as the time when the veil between the spirit world and the earthly realm are at their thinnest. Now it starts thinning at the fall equinox. It starts thinning even then. Okay, once the sun has started to fall, it starts thinning then. You know uh the entrance from the underworld to the overworld. You see, is opening. You see, it's opening, and then you have malevolent beings, and some people even believe that the earthly beings have access to the underworld. And so you have many records of gods that have went who are what they call demigods. You see, who are actually mortal, who has went into the underworld. Now, believe me, a lot of this is hypothetical, but or in occult understanding. You see, where they went, but not many have returned. So it's something that you should, in your understanding of it, if you even in a ritual way, be careful. You see, because not many have returned from that ritual, that ceremony, and so it says that it is in the best time to commune with the dead. So many of our ancestors who have passed on in this hemisphere, it is a beautiful time because they ain't the only one that get access. You got access too. You got access too. So you have access to your ancestors that have passed on in this hemisphere. It becomes even thinner on Sam Hain. So Sam Hain just started when the sun set. You see, and it ends tomorrow at sunset. So even during the daytime, that's why I'm telling you, especially if it's It's foggy out here. The clouds is in the sky. You see, this is where you get the term shadow beings and shit. That you'll see shadows and a lot of entity. You hear shit moving in the house. I'm just being, you know, but we dealing with the lure of today, the lure of this time, because it in the Nordic understanding it lasts even into the what they call midwinter. It lasts. You continue to have these type of stories and legends, that go even into January and so on and so forth. Okay, and so it says you can literally feel the change in energy in the air. If you sense a presence behind you, it's not your imagination. Okay, the veil is thinning. October is known for its fly haunted feel. Every day, the air feels more and more alive with energy. Too often, we sense a presence just behind us. It's not your imagination. Spiritual activity is more prevalent now. Okay, and then we're gonna go down. The veil between the world begins to thin around October 15th. Okay, becomes this thinnest the eve of the 34th. The portal closes about November the 10th. And so you got, they say up until November 10th, you have, you know, uh, wonder, I ain't gonna say because that's not what we dealing with. But if you're looking for the most with successful time to commune with the dead, then this is it. So you're gonna have a lot of rituals going on at this time. So again, for the wicked motherfuckers, this, that, and the third, and probably some of the other groups and shit, they probably fall right in line with this time. You see, but like I say, you got to be careful. You see, you got to be careful because a lot of these entities are benevolent beings and they play with you and they disguise themselves. You see what I'm saying? So if you call something, you understand what I'm saying? If you call something, and it might very well not be what you thought it was. You see, and so they say you have to be very, you got to be masterful in your art. You see, you got to be masterful in your art. Now, a lot of people say when you see these goddamn shadow beings, they say your ass is, they saying you might be on the way out of here. When these motherfuckers, you start seeing motherfuckers like this, that, and the third. Yeah, they saying motherfucker, you better call in the best motherfucking mad guy that you know. You understand what I'm saying? To put some type of goddamn, some type of protection on your ass. You see? Yeah, so again, but this is the things that's associated with the fall. You get to see, that fall. You see here, and often to them, you see in the woods, nothing is very clear. It's always a mist. And with mist is mysticism, you see, with mist and shit hide in the fall. You see, things hide in that fog, and if it jump out on you, you don't have the ability to see that far. And so, if it's on you and it jump out on you, you might not have a time to recover. Many murderers like Jack the Ripper and so on and so forth. Yeah, that's one of the things that they use as a backdrop to, the things that they were doing, the murders and shit. They would hide in the fog, and so yeah. So you got to understand that that fog. You got all these roots. You see what I'm saying? Where the fog and this, that, and the third. So this is the season for that, and going in, especially in you. You understand what I'm saying? Especially in Europe, this shit get foggy. You understand? When you can't even see your hand in front of your goddamn face in some of these days. Now you got Lumeria. Now Lumeria is a festival of the dead in ancient Rome. It was held on May the 9th, 11th, and the 13th. On the ninth, on the night of the festival, on the night of the festival, the dead ancestor go. They call them Lemures. Okay, Lemures. Okay, these are the ancestors, dead ancestor goes and would visit their relatives. Some people think that the festival started as a way of showing what Romulus did to his brother Remus. Okay, so we know the story. If you don't know the story, the two founders of Rome, Romulus and Romulus ends up killing his brother Remus. I don't know if it was over who was going to rule and this, that, and the third. And so, you know, it's not just a relative; it's a relative that died in some type of, you know, malicious way. You know what I'm saying? In some type of malicious way, and they continue to return. And if you didn't take care of the ancestor, and you didn't treat it, that ancestor can return to haunt your ass. You see, on the days of Lemuria. And so this was one of the reasons why a lot of people started putting on the mask because they didn't want that ancestor uh, to, recognize them. So they would put on the mask. And so again, you see Lemuria dating back to the founding of Rome in the 8th century BC. Debate that. But this festival was celebrated at the night on the 9th, the 11th, and the 13th of May. You see, and I wonder if that's a Friday. It features rituals to drive out unwelcome spirits from the home. Many scholars regard Lumeria as the true origin of All Saints' Day, which was initially celebrated on May 13th, and in the 7th century was moved to November 1st in the eighth century. Okay, it was moved to November, and so what they did to combat Sam Ham, they had already usurped Lumeria. Okay, now when they talk about All Saints Day, if you ain't hip to the Catholic, what they do, I'm gonna jump right on down here into Lumeria. They go to the grave. You see, I believe they got one for the saints. Then they got one for family members. It's a 3 day, 3 day celebration. You see, and they go to the cemetery and they put candles and they say prayers over the dead. And so there are many cultures that got different, very similar to it. You see, and so that's what the Catholics did. They co-opted Lumeria. Okay, so this aspect that you see today, and I believe, yes, it did start today, is actually October the 31st, November the 1st, and November the 2nd. We're going to get, that's the Catholic, what they call Hallows. Uh, uh, it's a term that they use for all 3 days. Okay, Hallow Tide, I believe, Hallow Tide. And hollow in the Catholic or the biblical understanding means holy. You see, hallowed be thy name, holy be thy name. You see, and so I believe what today is Halloween was actually Hallows Eve. Okay, so this is Hallows Eve, which later became Halloween. Okay, later became Halloween, but I believe that aspect of it was when it was moved to November 1st. See, that was the co-op Halloween. I mean, that was the co-op Sam Solomon. Okay, Solomon. Okay, which the Celtics again is the beginning of winter. Okay, so you go out and you go to a lot of these Catholic cemeteries and you can go in there and you can see nothing but all type of flowers and candles and whatever else that they put out there. Incense, candle, plants, and flowers. And so yeah, they got that going on today and tomorrow and Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday is going down. So again, Sam Hain is coming. Honor your ancestors. All right. Now the thing is, when you because I was doing some research on the British Isles. Now there is some traditions that say that the Phoenicians that come to the shores, which we know are African. If you know of Hannibal, you know of Carthage, and you see what I'm saying. Carthage, which was started by supposedly the Phoenicians. The Carthaginians, which are Africans that left. Well, today you see with the war over there between Israel and Palestine, you see that used to be Canaan, that used to be Phoenicia, and according to the Bible. So when a lot of those rogue barbarian tribes came down, and the Africans could no longer live, they sailed up. The Phoenicians were known for sailing, and they was considered to be the greatest mariners of the ancient world, and that even the Egyptians, and I don't know, because we'll have to debate that, because I look at them as being only an extension of the ancient Egyptian civilization. The ancient Egyptians had the greatest fleet of ships of any nation, and so so that's without a doubt. But the Phoenicians were known as the greatest mariners, uh, 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 navigators of the ancient world, and they were said to even had left the Mediterranean and had sailed up even into Britain, even further north than that. You see, even further north than that, many people believe that they very well may have even come across the ocean. That's you know how magnificent of mariners and navigators that they were. But when you look at the term Celtic, L, and you see in Celtic, you see L, and you see even in Gaelic, L, you see, and so that's the God, the great God of the Phoenician people, the great God of El. And when you look at El, you'll see some people call him uh, Baal, Baal, Hammond. You see, when you look at images of him, you'll see that he has the crown of Upper Egypt on his head, and sometimes have the Atep crown, which is another Egyptian crown. So you see that this was the ancient Egyptian empire, and so this is where you get the term El in Gaelic and Celtic. You see, not because that they are the descendants of the ancient Phoenician. We understand that there was an African population that was in Europe before the Caucasoid come down into that area. You see, you got what they call the Grimaldi. What's a documentation of that is what they call the Venus that they found all over Europe. They small little goddess uh, statues that were put down in the burials of the Grimaldis, of the Africans. They were matriarchal worship that no European had no matriarchal worship at no time in its history. You see, and so this is very significant about that, and people have to understand. So when you start talking about Stonehenge and many of those megalithic structures, those were structures that were put up by the Africans. Even when you talk about down in South America, you start talking about Teotihuacan, the great uh, 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 pyramids of South America. The Aztec people say and admit to the fact that they were there before they got there. You see what I'm saying? So they were already standing when they showed up. So they didn't take credit for it because they couldn't. You see, they couldn't take credit for it. You see, that's very significant. So Stonehenge is no different than than the pyramids that's in America. The Mayans and the Aztecs, when they showed up, those megalithic structures were already standing. Okay, that's very significant. Now, you see, now it's called All Hallows Tide. Now here we go. We breaking it down. This is the Catholic worship that's going on in unison with Samhain. Because you got Halloween going on. You got Halloween going on. Then you got Samhain going on. You see, you got Samhain going on because Halloween in at 12 midnight. Samhain continues on to sunset tomorrow, and then you got All Hallows Tide. The 3 days of All Hallows Eve, the 3 day All Hallows Eve, which later became Halloween. That's the day. Then you got All Hallows Day, and you got All Hallows Soul Day, are collectively referred to as All Hallow Time. Okay, so All Hallows Day, I believe, is for the saints. All Hallows Souls Day is where you give honor to your own family members, your loved one. You see, and Hallows Eve is just the celebration before, and that was to co-opt Halloween. So, not co-op, co-op Samhain, which it later was shortened. Hallows Eve was shortened to Halloween. Okay, it was shortened to Halloween, and the Catholics don't give a damn. They just add, they don't care, and I'll show you that they having Halloween parties right there in front of the Vatican. They don't give a goddamn. And so you see right there, all these 3 days are collectively referred to as All Hallow Tide and are a time for honoring the saints and preparing for all recently departed souls. So the term hallow means holy. You may recall, recite in the Lord's Prayer, Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Okay? And so you're talking about the history of Halloween, the tradition originated from about 2000, and that's not true. That's Solomon. That's something totally different. But there are some similarities. You see, but we'll go with it for right now. The tradition originated about 2,000 years ago from the Celtic festival, Samhain, celebrated on October 31st, in which the Celtics was now formed what is now formed what is now Ireland with light bonfires and wear costumes. Okay, in the ninth century, the Catholic Church established a celebration called All Saints Day or All Hallows. It was first called All Hallows. The night before the celebration was called All Hallows Eve and eventually Halloween. And by the 1950s, Halloween became the country's second largest commercial holiday, with Americans spending about 6 million a year. That's they way beyond that shit now. You know, in 43 AD, we're talking about Roman traditions involve honoring the goddess Pomona, whose symbol is the apple. This incorporation evolved in today's Halloween tradition of bobbing for apples. Now, Pomona was also a goddess of harvest, and so this is the time of harvest. You see, this is the time once you go into November in the Nordic, that is referred to as block, the month of block. And block is blood. It means sacrifice. You see, it means sacrifice. Okay, block month. So November is the block month. What does that mean? A lot of the animals, they know them animals is not gonna last through the winter. And so this is the time where they begin to cut up the meat. They keep enough cattle and enough, animals to get started the next year, but they don't have enough food to feed all them animals. So they cut them up and they store the meat. They salt the meat and store the meat for food during the winter. Okay, and so that's November. And that is referred to as block. Okay, The idea of trick or treating was borrowed from European tradition, and by the 20th century, Halloween parties became popular and the holiday became more kid oriented. Okay? History behind the name, and we just went over that. Okay, behind the name Halloween or the uh, Halloween, as they call it in Ireland, means All Hallows Eve, the night before All Hallows Eve, also called All Hallow Mass. And see, you see right there, even in Christmas, you see they called it All Hallow Mass because that's the Catholic, you know, personification anyway. So All Hallow Mass, and I guess Mass is mass, okay, and all Saints or All Souls Day observed on November 1st. So they probably was in church. Well, they probably in church right now having mass. You see, having mass. And so they call it All Hallow Mass, which is mass. You see, and I guarantee you, if we look it up right now, I bet you they ass is having mass right now in the Catholic Church. In Old English, the word hollow means sanctified. Roman Catholics, Episcopalians, and Lutherans used to observe All Hallows Day to honor all saints in heaven, known or unknown. Okay? The Celts believed that the dead could walk. We're talking about Solomon, which today is referred to as All Hallows Eve or Halloween. The Celts believed that the dead could walk among the living at this time. During Samhain, the living could visit with the dead who they believed held secrets of the future. Scholars believe that Halloween's association with ghost food and fortune telling began with these pagan customs 2,000 years ago. You see, many of the customs of the pagans, Celt, and the goddamn Christians is pagans too. Don't forget that. You see, coming to when we judge them on the African scale, they ass is pagans too. And so, Celtics survived even after the people became Christianized. In the 1800s AD, the church established All Saints Day on November 1st, about 200 years later. It added All Souls Day. Okay, so it started with All Saints Day, and then it added All Souls Day because you're gonna pray for the saints, but I can't pray for my own people. So they created All Souls Day on November the 2nd. So it really was on November the 1st, and then they added November the 2nd. This day was set aside for people to pray for friends and family who had died. Oh, thank you, Pope. You understand? Thank you. That I can pray for my own family and friends. Okay, people made many of the old pagan customs a part of this Christian holy day. Some people put out food for their ancestors, you see, and that was even in Lemuria that they would put out food. I think beans and cakes, and the little cakes that they would go and they would give out cake to people would knock on the door and they would give them cake. And what the people would do, they was just like renting out somebody to pray for your ancestors. And so, to keep them from coming to the house. So they would knock on the door and you give them a cake and give them the name and they would go to the cemetery and pray so that the soul of the ancestor wouldn't rise up. Okay? And so some people put out food for their ancestors or they left a lantern burning in the winter in the window so that the ghosts could find their way home for the night. Through the years, and that's just like you get the pumpkin and this, that, and the third, and even Christmas too. Through the years, various regions of Europe developed their own Halloween custom. In Wales, for example, each person put a white stone near the Halloween fire at night and then checked in the morning to see whether the stone was still there. If it was, the person would live another year. Wow, you got some crazy shit going on up in there. And so so that's really the lore of it. You see, that's really the lore of it. But let's come on down. Now you see, if you haven't seen, you can see these wicked motherfuckers. You see what I'm saying? They still practice. You see, they go into these, and it's all about the tree too. When even if y'all don't know about Bohemian Grove out there in California, where the Illuminati go out there, they go to the Grove. See, so that's where the Celtics and many of the Nordics and shit, they go to the Grove, and the Grove is an area, it's a you know, it's in the forest, but it's a certain type of surrounding. You see, it's like you could be in a forest, right? But you come to an area in the forest where there's a large part of the land that's no trees on. It's surrounded, but you can go inside, and it's an opening. There's no trees in this area, so this is considered sacred. You see, so they can go in this area and they can perform ceremonies and rituals, and so that's a grove, okay, and so you see even out in Bohemian Grove in the tree, you see the oak tree for the most part, sacred. And that's one of the things that they don't tell you about, even in Thanksgiving, that Thor, that's a celebration of Thor. And the oak tree was sacred not only to Thor, but also to Zeus. Now in the Nordic, Thor is Zeus. They both gods of storms and lightning. And so in the Canaanite, it was Baal. He was also the god of thunder and lightning. So all of these gods were interchangeable in the various religions. You see, and so yeah, the oak tree. And so when you get into Thanksgiving and you get into school, and many of you, if you remember back in the day, you be making the leaves, and you had the acorns, but they never tell you a lot of times that the acorns are oak. You see, so in that symbolism right there, and you understand that Thanksgiving falls on the Thursday, sacred to Thor, and November being the block month, meaning now they're sacrificing the cattle and so on and so forth. And so, you know, this is in reverence, and I'm gonna show you to Thor. Okay, this is it. And so when we understand that Santa Claus is, in certain aspects of Santa Claus is Thor. Certain aspects of Santa Claus is old. Certain aspects of Santa Claus is Saturn. Okay, those three. Certainly, and so understand that. But the aspect of Thor, we bring it. The things. And what's another, which is very relevant, that connects them all. They're all goat worship. You see, these is holidays where the goats are worshipped. You see, now in the Celtic, they had the deer. They had what's the name? But they had the deer god. You see, and but he's still the horn god. That's their version of faith. You see, he's still the horn god. Okay, so in the Celtic, it was which became. That's why you see Santa Claus with the reindeer. Now, if you go previous to Santa Claus, because that's where Santa Claus comes from. Grew up in that Dutch area, they had a Santa Claus, but it don't fall on Christmas. It falls on, I believe it's December 9th or somewhere up in there, Saint Nicholas. So this is when Santa Claus come in those areas, up in the Denmark, and I believe it's Denmark, Switzerland. I believe up in that area. They have Saint Nicholas Day, and so that's Santa Claus, and so Santa Claus is the dramatic pronunciation of Santa Claus. So that's where Santa Claus comes. So if you want to look at the direct descent, where they took Santa Claus from and added other stuff to it. Now he's different than Santa Claus. Santa Claus rode on a horse, you see, which was very similar to Odin. You talk about the king of the gods. So when I say that certain aspects is Odin, you know Marvel comics, you know that Odin is the father of Thor. He's the king of the gods. But Thor was looked at as a great mighty hero. It's like, you know, Heru. And you see in Thor, you see Hor. This is where you get Hor. You see what I'm saying? Very powerful information that we dropped in here today. Do you see what I'm saying? So you see that Odin, who is considered father of Yule. Yule is the holiday of the winter for the Vikings. Samhain is the celebration of the Celtics. Saturnalia is the celebration of the Romans. So in Christmas, you gonna get a mixture of all three. Okay, you gonna get a mixture of all three. But but you're gonna get to go in all of them. You see, you don't get to go because Samhain or Halloween is said to be the devil's Sabbath. That's what they say it is. The devil's Sabbath, the witch's Sabbath. Okay, and so with Lucifer, he's the horn god. Then you go into Thanksgiving, and what you got? You got the cornucopia. See, a lot of people don't know that's goat worship. The cornucopia, or what they call the horn of plenty. You see what I'm saying? And you got you stuff it with all type of fruits and all type of, that's a goat's horn. You see, just like Capricorn. You see, Capricorn, the corn, I believe it's the corn new. Okay, is is it the goat horn? That's what that means. Capricorn means goat. Now cornucopia. The copia means plenty. The cornu means horn. So that's where you get horn of plenty. Or you understand what I'm saying? So, that's even going into Capricorn. You understand that on December 21st, and that's very significant that I dropped this because you ain't gonna get nobody. They're not celebrating Jesus Christ. They're celebrating the birth of the goat. When you talk about, and that's their deity, Pan. You see, whatever Pan is the primordial goat god. All other forms of the goat god or the horn god are variations of Pan. Okay, are variations of Pan. So on the 21st is the shortest day of the year, which is considered to be the death of the sun. That very next day, December 22nd, is when Capricorn is born. So this is the birth of the goat. So they're not celebrating, they're celebrating the death of the sun and the birth of the goat, the rise of the goat on December 22nd. And so the whole month between December 21st until whatever, into January is the celebration of the goat. You see, and that's why you can see if you look at Saturn, and you'll see many depictions. You got Saturn and you got Pan, or you got Saturn because Capricorn is Pan. That's what that is. Okay, that's the celebration of Pan. So when you see Saturn and you see Pan, because the sign of Capricorn is in the house of Saturn. You see, that's the duality. You see, that's two sides of the same coin. And you'll see that combination throughout all religions. It's Saturn and Pan is Jesus and Satan, or God and Satan. And then you go in, you see Santa Claus. And you see Santa Claus, and this is where you get the story of Krampus. You see Krampus is supposedly his evil brother. Then you see Thor, who pulls Thor's his cart to goats. You see, so the goat, and you got Pan, you got the goat, and see, we just went over the fact that in these areas, because you see that the people will put on the goat head and come and deliver gifts. And this was before Santa Claus. You got to understand that Santa Claus is the last personification of all of this. They already had the holiday. They already had the Yule. They already had the Saturnalia. They already had the Samhain. They already had. And so they took and and they gave you the American version, which is the Santa Claus. Now this is the most widely renowned because in the modern world, America, as far as uh, what they call pop culture, you see, America leads the world in popular culture. So more, and so yeah, so America about making money. You know what I'm saying? So they're gonna put out there which one gonna make the money. You see, they know that majority of the ones that preceded Santa Claus, they were some demonic entities. You know what I'm saying? Them kids wasn't looking. When you talk about the celebrations, if that's what you want to call them, in Europe before Santa Claus, majority of those entities were evil entities that were coming to get the children. They didn't. So them kids was, them was some of the worst times of the year. And a lot of it comes from the fact that being in that cold, in certain areas. I mean, you can imagine how frigid it would get up in Russia, up in them northern aspects. And so a lot of people didn't make it during the winter season, and so it was looked at as entities of death was coming to take the people away. And so this is where they created all. And, it's hard. If grown ass men and shit is dying, so you know how hard it was to kill. And you could have goddamn logs and shit, and goddamn that shit'll overtake the heat. That goddamn you had to have 2, 3 goddamn fires going on up in that motherfucker. You see what I'm saying? Sometimes the fire wasn't enough. You see what I'm saying? And so, that's where you get the eternal fire from. Like in the Olympics, they keep the fire going on. They couldn't even put the goddamn fire out. You put the goddamn fire out at any time. So it had to be people who were their responsibility at a certain time of night to keep the goddamn logs on the fireplace to keep the fire burning. They couldn't let the fire go out. You understand what I'm saying? But in those harsh circumstances, a lot of the children would die during the winter season, and so this is where you get a lot of these entities like Frau Percher and all and Krampus that would come and take the children because this was symbolic of that goddamn frost that would come and take the children during the winter. So that's the whole understanding of it. And so you see these motherfucking pagans out there, they still practicing Solomon to this day. They still calling on their ancestors, invoking their ancestors to come upon this earth and continue to haunt your ass. You see, coming to haunt your ass, and you got to understand that. So you got to call somebody to your aid. You see, now as you can see right here, they got witches. Even in Italy, you got the one witch that uh they call her La Befana, witch of the Epiphany. You see, and so you see right here, this is you see right outside the goddamn St. Peter's. They got the witch out there. You see all the peoples out there. They celebrating this shit. They just show you, that all they do is go out, but they don't give up nothing. You see here again, showing you the witch. This during Christmas. And this witch come and bring you presents. You see all the kids out there, they out there celebrating and shit, and you got this ugly ass witch out here. This was before Santa Claus. And so when America became the pop culture standard of the world, they begin, they wouldn't give up their older ideas. They just intermarry or intermingle their older ideas with Santa Claus because Santa Claus then became so popular around the world that all the kids, they want to participate in the American version of Christmas. They want to engage in that. And so you see right here, they commingle. Okay, they commingle, and with and so in Italian folklore, be Befana or Befana is an old woman who delivers gifts to children throughout Italy on Epiphany Eve, the night of January 5th, in a similar way to Saint Nicholas or Santa Claus. You see, Now, that just show you that the witch was there before Santa Claus. They didn't give. They just co-opted the way that he brings gifts. Now, probably in those days they probably just brought a little cake or something. Now, America, we got that dollar. They want all the gifts, and so they had to update Lee for Father and shit. Now she got to show up with gifts and shit. Yeah, the kids don't want just no little cake or nothing like that. No, they want Xboxes and shit. They want bicycles and shit. They want all the things they see American children do. In popular folklore, Befana visits all the children of Italy on the eve of the feast of the Epiphany to fill their socks with candy and presents if they are good, or a lump of cold or dark candy if they're bad. You see, dark candy. Imagine that. She is also referred to as the Christmas witch. See? See what I'm saying? She's also referred to as the Christmas witch. So, this showing you that they have intertwined. What you think is just on Halloween? No, 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 no. That is an all year celebration intertwined in every holiday of the European. This is the common standard of all holidays. You see, during, from goddamn Samhain to Thanksgiving, now the Thanksgiving aspect about it is America. Even though that aspect, but it's still not really. In the Nordic, they would be having a block with their blood sacrifice, and we know that because they split with it. You see, I'm gonna show you how to see how they interconnected uh, Christmas with Thanksgiving. Because at the Macy's Day Parade, who comes down? Who comes down at the end? Santa Claus. Who is Santa Claus? Oh, it's his day. Thanksgiving on the Thursday. The only holiday would be, and this is the Black Month, where they sacrifice and they give the gods, especially Thor, especially Odin, especially Frigga, give them their sacrifice. They make a special sacrifice to the deities. And so that's on Thursday. And so at the end of the Macy's Day Parade on Thanksgiving, on Thursday, St. Christopher, you see who come down? Santa Claus. Who is that? That's the revision of Thor. And I show you. Let me show you just to prove it. Let me show you. Now, I'm gonna show you. See right here? You see Thor so this is his connection with the goat. See, so you got his and they are Germanic names, but one means thunder and the other one means light. Okay, so this is no different than Saturn and Pan, no different than Jesus, God and the devil, no different than Saint Nicholas and Krampus. It's the same combination. Now, when you see here Thor coming down, you see, you see him riding in his chariot with his goat. Then you come to the Macy's Day Parade, which, and just show you, this is the largest parade in the world by far. The largest parade in the world where you get over 2 million people, over 2 million in that area of the parade, the different streets that it go down. Now you see here, you see Santa's sleigh, right? Let me show you what's at the front of Santa's sleigh. The goat, the goat. You see, right there in the front of his sleigh is the goat, yeah, going right back, going right back, going right back to Thor. You see, that's who they got coming down. That's Thor. You see, so that's they slick. So you got to see. You see how now you see how Thanksgiving is connected. It's a gate that each one leads to the next. Each one leads to the next. You see, there's no doubt about it. Each one leads to the next. Then you go into Christmas. Christmas leads into New Year. See, Christmas leads into New Year's, and we'll get more extensive in that as we move forward in our series of live streams. You see, I got them in there. If you just go to General Said, if you did, you had to go over there get your ticket. But if you go over there, you'll see that the live streams are already in there. And as I move further in, I'm gonna get deeper and deeper and deeper. Okay, I'm gonna get deeper and then I'm cracking heads right now, giving up a whole lot of information. But when we get into things, when we get into Christmas, when we get into movies, and my God, when we get man, it still keep getting deep because that Mardi Gras is a motherfucker. That Lupercalia, all of them, man. Once you get into them, and when I lay them all out for you at the very end, you're gonna be like, you get them all at once, you're gonna say, God damn, man, what the fuck? You ain't gonna get it like this nowhere else. You see, and so you see right here, and and like I say, I ain't gonna focus too much on the Thanksgiving today, only to show you the connection between the goat worship, and some of the worship of Thor, which goes into most definitely goes into Christmas and uh New Year. Okay, which most definitely go into Christmas and New Year's, and we're gonna get into that. Okay, but let me get back down. Let me get black down here. Now, let me. Now, if you see right here, now this is coming out of Britain. This is Father Christmas. You see, this is Father Christmas. You see him on the goat. See, Father Christmas was before Santa Claus. That was the British version of Santa Claus. He wore green. If you get into the story of that Ebenezer Scrooge, you'll see him in there. Where Father Christmas would visit him. I believe that was one of them. And he had on the green, and that was the original story. They might have updated, but you see right here, Father Christmas on the goat. You see, on the go. So it's most definitely, and we went over the fact that the mamas that they wear masks. You see, they wore masks during Christmas. Okay, we just went over here again. You see them with the gold mask on. This Christmas, this Yule time. Okay, and they'll come and they'll bring their gifts. This is how, see, because the thing is during after the Catholics took over. You see, after the Catholics took over, they had to hide they did. You see what I'm saying? They couldn't, they couldn't have, so actually that's a symbolic of Thor. But the way they, give reverence to Thor is by wearing the goat. You see what they call the jewel box or the jewel box. You see, and they over there in Switzerland, they have a gigantic ass, uh, uh, gigantic ass goat that they bring out there during the season of Yule. You see, so that's their way of venerating. They can't put up Thor, the image of Thor no damn more. You see, some of them gave up. They different age now, so they just come right on out with the damn the goat. They come right on out with Thor. They're going back to their old way. Now this is another Christmas witch that they call Gryla. You see, this is some scandalous shit. Gryla, and she steals the children and turn them into damn statues and shit in her home and shit. This shit is crazy. And so she live up in a damn uh, cave, and she got 12 sons that they call the Yule lad. You see, she also got what they call the Yule cat. You see, and this is her cat, and this cat come and eat motherfuckers. If you ain't got on no new clothes for Christmas, you got on some old shit. The Yule cat will eat your ass. We're gonna get off into that. And so you see here, these is they having carnival, and so they done brought out effigies of Bryla and her damn a husband, and some hideous motherfuckers. You see, and it says right here, they got a pot in front of this statue where they get in and take pictures because the motherfucker gonna eat you. Now, let me tell you something. I don't know if I got that in there or not. The Yule lads start coming down from the mountains one by one, starting 13 days before Christmas on the on the on the 12th. Oh, wait a minute. Let me see what this is. Before Christmas, on the 12th, between the I believe it's the 12th and 25th. Okay, they start okay, on the 12th day, 12 I think it's 12 minutes. On the 25th, they start going back up into the mountain one by one. So the celebration is a span of 26 days. So she got, her 12 sons. They come and the motherfuckers cause all kind of mischief. Okay, cause all kind of mischief and shit. Each one got a specific mischief that it do during the season. So you could be dealing with this shit. And it says here, Gryla, now that we all know about the Christmas monster Krampus, it's time to learn about another Christmas monster. You can't run out of monsters for Christmas. You got Gryla. She's a giant witch or troll from Iceland and the Nordic countries like Krampus. She steals naughty children at Christmas. But instead of taking them to hell in the basket, because that's what Krampus do, take you right on to hell. She cooks them and eats them. The stories told about her are so scary and gruesome. Listen to this. That Iceland has outlawed parents telling them because they border on child abuse. That's crazy. I seen the shit in the newspaper. They had to ban these crazy motherfuckers from even telling the story because they had the children in such fright that they, you know what I'm saying, that they say this shit borders on child abuse. So they goddamn banned the parents from even telling the damn story. You see, I guess they can tell on they call them 911, tell on their goddamn parents, oh, she over here telling them, he over here telling this goddamn story. Please, I need some help. So they petrifying the goddamn shit, petrifying them with these stories. But this has been the way that so you can understand that they probably been living centuries in this shit. And so here's the cat. You see the cat look like, goddamn, got all type of guts and shit hanging out. Yeah, this is what you got to deal with. So if you ain't got no new clothes, you better stay off the goddamn street. Here, this is the category. This is the shit before Santa Claus. Yeah, this is look, this is the shit before Santa Claus. Y'all, so they're not talking about this. So this is the connection because you would think this shit would be during Halloween. This ain't during Halloween. It's during Christmas. God damn, you know what I'm saying? You know them damn kids, they don't want no goddamn, if this what Christmas is prior to Santa Claus, because they know they can't make no money like this. Even with Halloween. Yeah, they had to smooth it out. You see what I'm saying? They had to smooth it out for the baby. You see what I'm saying? You can't put this on the if you want to go see a scary picture of shit, that's PG 17. You had to be grown to go see some shit like that. So, but they had this going on to the youngest of the babies, and these was to celebrate. Now, this motherfucker right here was worse than them all. And that's just which now we didn't just talk about Bafana. Now Bafana ain't that, she seemed to be I had to get off into the story a little deeper. She seemed to be more less demonic than Gryla and Frau Perch. Now Gryla and Frau Perch, they just all the way out the gate. Okay, you see here that they would put the witch on the goddamn on the Christmas tree. So you see how they intertwine, the Wiccan and shit and Christmas right on with, the Christmas, Wiccan and Christmas. You see the stars and shit, and that's also an aspect of it. We're gonna deal with it. It's down in here somewhere. We're gonna deal with it. The 6-pointed star that they put on top of the Christmas tree. Yeah, we're gonna talk about that. Here's the 12 lads, the Iceland lad, hides in gullies waiting for an opportunity to sneak up into the cow shed and steal milk. You got this little one called Stubby, abnormally short, steel pans to eat the crust. What is it? Pans to eat the crust left on them. So if you cooked and left some goddamn any type of food, he'll steal your pans and eat the crust on it. You got spoon lift, steals a type of wooden spoon to make extremely thin due to malnutrition. Okay, steals. You got the pot liquor steals leftovers from pot. You see, you got this one down here. They say the bowl liquor. You got doors. All this shit is talking about motherfucking star. You see what I'm saying? So you already know what they living in because they manifest how they living in their mythologies and shit. The gobbler. If you will land with an affinity uh, for some type of pork, and then you got and so it goes on, and then you know, and so these was the 12 days of Christmas. This is what you had to put up with. You see it right here, got a bag full of damn children. Damn, this is what you got to do. And so now you got Frau Perch. Now Frau Perch, she'll make Ryla and Krampus run for the board. Frau Perch, the disemboweling witch. The disemboweling witch. Let me see it. I didn't even check to see. Oh my God. Okay, I got some more family here. I know they like. Let me get them on in here. I know they like, man, where's Sadie at? Let me get them on in here. Matter of fact, let me just hold on, fam. Yeah, yeah, oh yeah. Frau ain't no joke. Frau Perch ain't no joke. She show up, goddamn it. She worse than crap. You can go on Tubi. They got one. They be having some cheesy shit on Tubi, but they got one on there for Frau Perch. Yeah, they got one on there for Frau Perch. It's called Mother Crap. Yeah, it's called Mother Crap. Okay, I'm back in the house. All right. And so Frau is Perch is the upholder of cultural taboos. It has two forms. You one say beautiful and white as snow, or elderly and haggard. She roams the countryside in winter looking for those that have misbehaved. Once acquired, she slits their bellies, removing their stomach and guts, and stuff the whole with God. You see? And so I noticed when I watched that motherfucker Mother Crab, that all she doing was splitting their goddamn and snatching out their damn intestines and stuffing it with fucking and so you see one right here. Now this was also looked at as foul. So you got this bitch in there sneaking it, and this was the winner. This was an aspect of the winner. You see the children where they a lot of times they couldn't make it through the winter. You see, they couldn't make it through the winter. You see, and this was symbolic of those harsh winters. Now, a lot of people don't understand about Ragnarok. Ragnarok is the end of the world in the Viking mythology, and they say that Ragnarok will start when they have 3 winners back to back. Ain't gonna be no spring or no summer. Gonna be 3 winners uh, back to back to back. And this would be the start of the end of the world. I bet it would be. And they say within that time, it wiped out the planet and it got so where they went to even eating humans and shit because they had ran out of food. The animals, they had eaten all the animals. And so they was on and after all that wasn't but two people, two humans that even lived and they would start the new era on the planet. A lot of the gods died, and it was a war in heaven that they call Ragnarok. But see, so yeah, so they even the end time was based on the winter, the harshness of the winter. Now even the Yule star, when you go and put it, is this is the 5-pointed star. So you see, even in you see that it is connected to the Wiccan, is connected to the occultism, and we'll get off into the tree, but that's going to be later down the line. You see, that's going to be later down the line, and so you see even uh, now Frau, you see, now she was also connected to that wheat. You see what I'm saying? And she would show up because you're supposed to be, I don't know if them women over there that they had to make sweaters and shit, this, that, and the third. So they had to be a fish. And if you wasn't a fishing and fire come and get with your ass, take you off. Now what's crazy about that wheel, that's also the symbol of Frigga, which is the goddess of Friday. You see, and I seen it, but I didn't get it. But I will go and look because I haven't seen it in a while. As far I got so many lectures, and I got to go in there where they consider that a frown is an aspect of Frigga. You see, which is the goddess of Friday. You see what I'm saying? So when I say, but she was considered to be a witch. She was considered to be a witch. She was, and she was okay. She was considered to be a witch. Now this is going into, but let me so we can even extend ourselves into a greater understanding. And see what we went over. Now when we start talking about matter of fact, let me bring this up. So I don't have the lecture all over. I don't want to have the lecture all over. Because we're gonna have to catch up at some point in time. Now, so when we talk about even what we call the days of the week, you see now, or even the months, you know what I'm saying? And so you see that, again, the Romans was the first count of Britain. You see, and so you see March, now they started and let you know that, as we move into to what they call New Year, that's their New Year. You see, they start their New Year in the deepest of winter. You see, totally opposite of African people who start their New Year in the spring. You see, start their New Year in the spring. And so you see that they originally started uh their month with March. That was the original date that they started their month. Okay. And really that was the time when they went to war because March was named after Mars. You see? Now, so and it ended, I believe it ended with because if you put them in and you start March April, May, June, July. See, now if you started with March, you see, you start with March at number one. March, April, May, June, July, August, September, 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 which is 7, October 8, you see, November 9, and December, Deacon 10, you see they fall into chronological order, like they supposed to be. You see? And so that show you right there that they originally started their year with March. Okay? They originally started their year with March. And so they added, they added January and February. That's what they added. They added January and February. Now, originally they put January before March and put February, I believe, or put February behind March, and then eventually they would move February up above March. But you see, putting both January and February before March. Now, instead of putting it at the end, they put it at the beginning. And what that did is that threw the chronology off by two months. So now when you count January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, which is supposed to be 7, is now the ninth month. You see, now it's the ninth month. You see, then you got October, which suppose based on the terminology, October, which is 8, is now the 10th month. You see, and then you got November, which is 9, is now the 11th month. You see, and then with uh with December, Deacon, which is supposed to be 10, is now the 12th month. You see, is now the 12th. Okay, and so that show you right there that they are the chronological, and they don't even give a fuck. You understand what I'm saying? To make the correction. Okay, and so you dealing with the people. You understand that you know start their new year now. We know there's no new year in the dead of winter, but this is just to show you that they not celebrating what you celebrate or you think you celebrate. You see, is a reason why the majority of all the European holidays is either in the fall of the sun and the dead of winter. Okay, there's no new year in the dead of what's new out there. Ain't a goddamn thing new. Okay, a new day doesn't start at midnight. How the fuck? A new day starts with the rising of the sun. Okay, you see, and this is a vampire's. Uh, 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 you know, this is a vampire's reality. You see, most of the Caucasians holidays, holy days, holidays, and we'll deal with the holidays later on. I in the dead of winter. You start with after the equinox, then you have Halloween, you have Thanksgiving, you have Christmas, you have New Year's, you have St. Patrick's Day, you have Mardi Gras. These are all of the holidays that's in the fall or in winter. You see what I'm saying? So this is where they have most of the holidays, and so you got to understand that. Okay, you got to understand that, and as we move deeper into, you can see right here when we talk about the mass. See, this is Saint Nicholas. But see, the day before Saint Nicholas Day is Krampus night. It's Krampus night. You see, they haven't given up Krampus. See, Krampus was there before Santa Claus. He was there before Santa Claus. You see, it's, and so what they did, they were more revered with the goat at first. You see, when you look at jewel boxes, you see that they were more revered, but because the Catholic Church, you know what I'm saying? This is why they had to show that they didn't, they wasn't connected to it no more. You see, they had to show it in a pagan, evil, it don't make no difference which way they show it. It's all that shit. You see what I'm saying? And so you see here, this is a you see Santa Claus, Sinister Claus in the back. You see, they had to make him black, but they know that motherfucker white. You see what I'm saying? And you see they come with that switch. You see they come with that switch. So you see this the what they call the mass queer ray. You see queers in there. And queer is another form of some pride shit, homosexual shit. You see what I'm saying? And that's got to be talked about. You see? And so you see him here with the mask on, the openly hideous look of Krampus in the Yule coat, and, where they tried to demonize, because we know in Egypt they got the ram, you see? But a ram and a goat are two different things, okay? And people try to say, oh, this is no, a ram is a sheep. And they talked about it in the Bible to separate the goat from the sheep. So that's allegory because they know that the goat is straight hair, where the sheep is woolly hair. We got to drop facts on you tonight, man. I can't let you get away from here and drop them facts on you. The ram is a sheep, it's a male sheep. Sheep are woolly. This is what they say. And he talking about, I looked up in heaven and I saw the the divine God Almighty, and he was sitting on the throne. His feet was burnished brass, and his hair was like pure wool, pure, unmixed, unadulterated. You see, pure apple sitting up on the throne. This is what they see. I know you're running from it, but we ain't gonna let you run. We're gonna chase you. You see, we're gonna chase you down. So yes, these are and when we talk about the goat, and I had to show you that all of these goats, and we talk, is the straight hair. This is the demonic entity, the demonic worship. You see, they go on in all these motherfuckers. You see right there, the China man with the straight hair, with the goat hair on his fucking face. And you see him right here, and you can see this motherfucker eyes sunk in more than Lucifer, more than Satan. Now I'm gonna play this for you, so you can see these motherfuckers. This is Krampus night. This is Krampus night, right? Watch. Saint Nicholas' sinister counterpart, Krampus, will pay a visit to naughty children on December the 5th. Said to be the son of the Norse goddess Hel, who rules over the realm of the dead. The Christmas devil comes to punish children who have misbehaved. Okay? And you see they deep. And they bring that motherfucker, all their children out. You can see they be out there crying like a mother. Cramping, meaning claw in old German. Claw. God damn. Krampus carries trains and bird sticks to whip children. Whip them. And a sack in which to carry them away to the underworld. Originally a pagan figure, Krampus was tied to Christian celebration of St. Nicholas. See, he was there before St. Nicholas. You see, the two came to represent a balance between good and evil. You see, and you see that they got the train on him. See, but that's to show you that the Catholic Church had trained the pagan. That's what it's showing. That's their symbol. That they had trained the pagan and had brought them under their control. So they still got the holiday. And it look like it's just as many motherfuckers out there as for the look at this shit. And you gonna tell me they don't and look at the kids. She out there about to goddamn cry. You understand that silly ass mammy took out there to see some wicked shit like that. And they out there smile. That's why they didn't ban it in certain areas. I'm gonna show you this one too. Yeah, this is the goat. See, you would think this would be on Halloween. This ain't Halloween. This is in December. Half demon, half goat who beat children up. from naughty to nice. Look at this. Yeah, before so the very next day is St. Nicholas Day. The very next day is St. Nicholas Day. So that just show you right here. You see that there is a current that runs through all them holidays. You see, goddamn, this is in for Christmas. You see, I wanted to show y'all this. So if you got to know that America is smart. America's a motherfucker. So they gonna show, they ain't gonna show you all of this. No, they ain't gonna show you none of this. They gonna, they gonna bring you in and food. You see, they gonna fool you, and you understand what I'm saying. And when they got you all the way in, you understand they gonna do away with you. You see, and so family, let me come down. Let me come down here. Get down and see what's all the way at the bottom. I think we very well may have come to our conclusion, family. I think we very well may have come to our conclusion. And so, what I want to say to y'all is this: that this is just the beginning of the lecture series. Okay, the next up. Matter of fact, let me get it. We just getting started. Believe me when I tell you. I don't want to get ahead of myself. Go too deep into Thanksgiving. Go too deep into Christmas. Go too deep into New Year. Okay, so you got what every black family needs to know about Christmas and New Year. That's going down December 17th. That's going down December 17th. Okay, this is you got the secret connection between Thanksgiving and Christmas. We're gonna be heavy on that's the next one I believe coming up. Uh, and believe me, all of them are different. Okay, this one is gonna be December 3rd, the root of all European holidays. You see, what we're gonna talk about, but it's gonna be an overview of a lot of 'em. You see what I'm saying? And let me make sure. And I might move that one further down. I might move that one further down. But all you had to do, yeah, all you had to do, let me see which one. Just go in there and we we got all the live streams in there, and believe you me, each one of them is different. Okay, because it's so much information on each one. It have to be. If we tried to deal with them all at one time, it'd be too much to handle. It'll be too much to handle. And so I want to thank you for being here today, fam. I want to thank y'all for being here today. Stay with me. Stay with me, family. And believe me, when I walk you through here, this I just opened up. I just opened up uh, my, holiday packaging. As far as my lectures, and I'm tightening them up. Man, believe you, when you see what's coming up next, the next two, three, they're gonna blow your mind. I guarantee you that. So I want to thank you for being here. I appreciate you. All my family that's members on YouTube, all my family that's patrons on Patreon, and family that supported, that bought their ticket, any which way it go. I appreciate every last one of you, and I thank you. And I'll see you at the next lecture, or I'll see you on YouTube. I'll see you on Patreon. Black Pop.